Hey everyone, welcome back to Bit by Knit with me, Jenny. I'm here with you guys today on the west coast of Canada in beautiful British Columbia. Today I have a normal podcast as usual. I'm gonna talk about 2 finished objects, I think 3 works in progresses and a couple acquisitions. And we're gonna start with what I'm wearing. Today I'm wearing the Coco Loco tee by Twin Stitches Designs. I made this last year. Yes. Oh, you know what? I finished it about a year ago. I made this last year as a test knit for the designer, Julie. Can't remember her last name. Anyways, Julie, the designer behind Twin Stitches Designs. And I knit this with some yarn I just had in stash, which was an undyed yarn for my main color from Knit Picks. It's a blend of, I believe it's 90% superwash merino and 10% silk, I think is the breakdown of it. And the colorful stripes that I have on here is from a single skein that I had. It's a superwash merino. I think it might be 100% superwash merino. Anyways, superwash merino in the colorway July Feeling, I believe was what it's called. And they were fingering weight yarns that I just that I had on hand to use for the test knit, and it was not the original yarn I was going to use for the test knit, but if you ever watched the episode that I did from that test knit, it was a big saga about running out of yarn, and I had to do 2 of these tees to be able to get the test knit done in time. So this was sample number 2 that I did, and I love this t-shirt. It's very comfortable, it's so cozy, it doesn't feel scratchy on me, it doesn't feel heavy. The other one that I made feels a bit more heavy, and I do think it is a bit more scratchy, so I do like this one better out of the 2, so I'm glad that I made it. For this tee, the pattern is, I think it was 3.75 millimeter needles for the main body, and then it was 3.5 millimeter needles for the cuffs and the hem, and everything for cuffs and hem is in half twisted rib, and you do the pickup of that after you've knit the whole garment. And for this garment, you're starting with like the back panel, you're knitting it down, and then you pick up the stitches on the shoulders. Knit down, connect it in the front, knit a bit further, connect it in the round, and you just keep knitting it down. And for this garment, I also did a size 2, which was 34 inches for your final bust circumference. So it's supposed to be basically 0 ease for me, but it does have a good amount of ease, so I don't think I was quite on gauge for this one. So on to finished objects, going from this Coco Loco tee to the Coco Loco tank. I finished my Coco Loco tank, and it's still a bit damp because I am currently blocking it. So I'm not gonna have, well, you know what? I might be able to get a picture or a video of me wearing it after it's fully dried. If I get time to do that before I post this video, I will put it up here of me wearing it. But yeah, here she is, all done. This is the Coco Loco tank by Twin Stitches Designs. I got this pattern, I believe I got it free because after test knitting this one, I was allowed to choose a pattern of my choice as a thank you for test knitting, and so I chose the Coco Loco tank. For this tank, I chose to knit the size 2, which is also a 34-inch bust circumference for the finished garment, so I'm assuming it's going to be about the same amount of positive ease as this is. Because I haven't had a chance to try it on. I believe I did try it on after I finished knitting it, but before I blocked it, so it's not a very accurate tell. I think the only thing I didn't like about the finished product before blocking it was a bit short, and I wish I had knitted a bit longer, but after blocking it, it might have grown a bit, so I'm hoping that it will be longer. Just enough to comfortably wear without feeling like I'm showing off my stomach, because I hate showing off my stomach. Personal preferences, right? In the version that you'll have seen, I'll have put up a picture of her version here. It has stripes, and I just chose not to do any stripes on mine because I had enough of this green yarn to not have to worry about stripes, and I think I like it just being a solid better. For this, it's very similar construction to the t-shirt. You're starting with your back panel, you're knitting it down, and doing your armhole shaping, and then you pick up on the shoulders and you're knitting these front panels, connecting it at the neckline, knitting it down, doing more armhole shaping, and then going down in the round. And then you pick up the collar, the sleeves, and the hem, and just do a little bit of ribbing. I think it's just normal ribbing. No, half twisted for the sleeves and the collar, but it's normal ribbing on the bottom. And I think that's what the pattern called for, which is kind of strange, but I just did it that way, and it looks fine very minimal ribbing at the bottom. And I'm glad that I used a plant-based yarn because with the small amount of ribbing at the bottom, there's no curling. I think if it was merino, it would curl a bit because it's just a little bit of ribbing there. So I started this tank top on May the 4th and I finished it on May 17th. So it took me 13 days to knit. I was very motivated and enjoying it. It was a nice break from all of the other very heavy patterned garments that I've been knitting. So, okay. And as far as the yarn goes, I was using Tin Line yarn by Santa's Garn in this pretty kind of green color, number 95. You know what? You guys get to witness this. Can't read it. 9564 is the colorway. Ooh. Oh, actually, you know what? While I got these on, I'll tell you the breakdown of it too. It is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. So all all plant-based fibers in this. And it's super drapey, so airy. I'm very excited to wear it. The only thing that I want to note about the yarn is it did bleed a ton in the water when I blocked it. I did block it for hours. I just let it sit in the water for very many hours. I don't know, 5, 6 hours, something like that. By the time I came back to it, it was like the color of the water was the same color as the tank top. So I don't know if it would have mattered had I done stripes, if that color would have bled into the striping that I would have done. Because if I had done stripes, I would have used this yarn because this is also Tin Line in just their natural or their like kind of white color here. And so it would have looked nice as a stripe. But I chose not to because I didn't want to end up with a ton of green left over, which I still do have a full, like, it's not a full skein, but it's a good amount of the skein left over that I need to use up eventually, but it would have been more had I done the striping. So I didn't anyways bother with the striping, but I do wonder how much of that would have affected the stripes with the bleeding in the water. Let's bring this up close so you guys can see the stitches a bit better too. And I'm actually really proud of my pickup here on the shoulder. I'm going to see if I can show that. It looks really good. I don't know if that's showing up very well, but yeah, it looks so good. it looks so good. I can't even really tell where my pickup is. Like I can tell, but I can't, you know, it just looks, patting myself on the shoulder very hard right now, but I think it looks really good. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna put this back on the blocky mat so we'll get the next one. My next finished object is also still wet and not done blocking, but here is my Anacortes pullover by Michelle Frazetta, all finished. Did I make it in time for the end of the knit along? No, I didn't. I was a week late, but I finished it. So that is good news. I do have, again, I will put up a video of me wearing it if it dries in time before I post this video. If not, it'll just wait till next recording. I'll do a video and show it again. It's too wet for me to wear right now. It feels very, like it would not feel good wearing this right now with how wet it is. Damp, really, but anyways, here she is. So this is the Anacortes pullover by Michelle Frazetta. It is, it's knit. It's a raglan style sweater, but you can also knit it as a t-shirt if you want. She's got options for t-shirt or long sleeved version, and it is in an all over broken rib stitch. Plus it has an added feature of a half twisted rib going down the back or the underside of your arm and going down the sides of the sweater. And you're doing the half twisted rib for the cuff, like for the bottom cuff, the sleeve cuffs, and the collar. I had to look to make sure, and the collar. You do start with the collar. You don't have to pick up stitches and add the collar. You're starting with it, and then you're doing your short row shaping at the back as you're knitting in the round. Like I said, it's a raglan with this nice half twisted rib. Definition? Half twisted rib. Insert word here. Interest in the raglan to make it look very unique, and I love it. I did also take a video, not a video, sorry. I did take a picture of it before I blocked it, which I'll throw up here, and it does show that it's sitting pretty small on me. I knit the size 2, which is what was it? Size 2 was for 37.5 inches of your bust circumference for the final product, and my bust is 33.5, so it was supposed to give me, what, 4 inches of positive ease, and I'm hoping that with the blocking it will allow it to grow to that. It does look like it grew. It does look like it's better now. So I'm hoping that, because I did knit it to the specifications, like she tells you, even if you're a bit off gauge, she does tell you how long to make the arms before you start the cuff and how long to make the body and stuff, and I did all that. I did all that correctly, but it was showing short and small before blocking. So anyways, I'm hoping that with the blocking, we're going to be at the right size. You use 3.75 millimeter needles for the body, and you switch to, what is it, 3.25 for your cuffs. And I think you do your collar in the 3.25 as well. Yeah. So I started this sweater on March the 12th, and I finished it on May the 30th. The knit along ended the week before, I think like May 23rd or 24th or something. So I was a week late. Yeah, didn't get it done in time, and it took me 79 days to knit this puppy. And I can't wait. Well, okay, I obviously won't be able to wear it till the fall, and I don't want to say I can't wait to wear it in the fall because we're just getting into this nice summer weather, and I'm very excited to have the sunshine. So I'm looking forward to, when it's fall, being able to wear this. For the sweater, I use Knitting for Olive merino, held together with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the colorway Plum Clay. And I did end up having to dip into the last of the 2 balls that I had. So this is how much I have left. I started the mohair. I did definitely need the mohair second one. This one I had to dip into as well. Just near the end, I was like, I was probably like this far from finishing when I had to attach the last of my merino. But it's a good thing I had those extra little bits, extra skeins, because I definitely needed them. But this is, yeah, all I had left here. And here's my sweater up close. See that pattern? Okay. Yeah, so I think that's all I had to say about my Anacortes pullover. Okay, so on to my works in progresses. I didn't have a ton of time to work on them between getting my finished objects done and, like, my focus was those 2 finished objects. I didn't touch my sock. I did a little bit on my husband's sweater. I did a little bit on my melon sweater, and I have a new one to show as well. But I did focus on my finished objects. So by the time I finished those, I just had a little bit of knitting time to do before starting this recording. So we'll just show the progress. It's not a ton, but we will talk about it. I'm going to start with my husband's sweater here. So this sweater is loosely based off of the Misty Pine sweater by Michelle Frazetta. Loosely based because I'm doing the construction from that sweater, but I had to greatly adjust the stitches because it's, I think it was 18 stitches by however many rows for your 10 centimeters. And this one was 9 stitches by however many rows. So it's like half the amount. So I had to adjust the pattern to be able to accommodate this sweater. But yeah, I did go off of the Misty Pine sweater to get those numbers adjusted. So for this sweater, it's a top-down, I actually don't know what kind of shoulder this would be considered, but you start with the back panel, you're knitting the back panel, doing your shoulder shaping, your armhole shaping, and then you pick up at the shoulders to knit the front panels. You connect it in the round, and then you continue knitting it down. This is a sweater pattern, but you'll notice that I've got this line here for steeking down this front because I'm going to make it into a cardigan. But I didn't want to knit back and forth because I did add color work, as you can see. Actually, the color work probably shows up a bit better now than it did the last time I showed this because I have knit a little bit since finishing the color work there. So I've got my little Star Trek ships, and I've gotten, I think I just did this much since we showed this last. So not a ton. I'm possibly getting ready to add the pockets. So I think my husband has another sweater that he wears often. It's not a knit one, it's just a normal one from the store. And it has pockets, the kind of style that he likes, you know, the side pockets. And so I'm gonna hold this up to it and see where that pocket starts and decide where on this I need to start it based on that. So yeah, I need to figure that out. I feel like it was about this far from the armhole on his other sweater that the pocket started, so I think I might need to start doing that next on this. And I'm following a tutorial that I found online. It's not a tutorial necessarily, it's just like from a website. It breaks it down how to do it. I actually might have a video along with it too, so maybe it is a tutorial. Anyways, I can't remember. I posted it in the comments on my last video because a viewer asked about it. So I did post it, and I'll try to remember to post it in this video too, the link to the website, so that if anybody's curious and wants to know how to add pockets to a garment, you can look into it as well. So yeah, there she is. I'm using yarn from Briggs & Little. It's their Country Roving. And for the main color, it's, I think it was called medium brown. Yes, I'm using Briggs & Little Country Roving colorway, medium brown for the main color, and for the contrast, it's just the black. It's 5 strands of roving held together to give it this thickness. So you're knitting with all 5 strands, which makes it nicer because then it's less easy to break as you're knitting it. And it is, it's from, their company is based in Nova Scotia. Or sorry, the company is based in New Brunswick, which is really cool. Now, when I first bought this yarn, I was planning on doing a different pattern for my husband, and since then I changed my mind to this one. And so I think I need to buy some more of the medium brown to finish the project, because I only have 2 plates left after this one's finished. And I don't think that's going to be enough to get both sleeves done and the rest of the body. I might add a little bit more color work, so use a bit more of the black, because I have a whole other plate of the black besides this one that I might not get to. So I'd like to use a bit more of it if I can, but I still don't think it's going to be enough to get away with not having to buy more of the light brown. So yeah, I'm going to figure that out closer to the time of needing it, because it actually got delivered pretty quick after I ordered it. So I'm not too worried about that. And it's just a natural, I don't think I would have too much of a dye lot issue, and I say that with my fingers crossed, because it is 5 strands that you're holding together. So I feel like it might be inconsistent enough as it is with those 5 strands held together that if I have to add more, it's not going to be as noticeable, I'm hoping. But I will probably do helical knitting if I need to get more, just in case. Okay. So that is that. I should also mention that the color work that I did for the ships on here, I just made it up on Stitch Fiddle. A little whatever. It's not perfect, but I made it work. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, that is that one. Okay, the next work in project, nope, that's not right. The next work in progress I'm going to talk about is my melon sweater. This sweater is a design from my Digalon, my Tinks on social media. And the last time I showed it, I had not split for sleeves, but this time I have split for sleeves. So that's the progress that I've made, pretty much like 2 inches, not even. I've done, so I think right before, or I think on my last episode, I was just about to split for sleeves. And so I have, and this is the amount of progress I've made since splitting. So it does look like a bit more, you can definitely tell a bit better if it's going to fit, and I think it will fit. It's supposed to be, I think, -4 to +4 inches of positive ease, and so I think I'll get that with this. And oh, I have mentioned this before, but I'll just mention it again. The collar is done, but it's not done. I'm going to rip it out and redo it because I did the collar in a 1x1 rib, which is not what the pattern calls for, but I just wanted to try it and see, and I don't like it. It's folding and flipping funny. So I'll do it as the pattern suggests eventually, but I just haven't dealt with that yet. But anyways, here we are. This is the melon sweater. So it's a top-down contiguous she calls it a contiguous shoulder pattern. I guess because it kind of comes like out and down. I don't really know what makes it a contiguous shoulder, but that's what it is. It's a long slip stitch pattern, which is, I believe it would be considered a type of mosaic knitting because you're only carrying one color at a time. You're not doing any kind of like color holding two strands together. You just do the one color, and then when you come back to the start, you might do the same one color or you switch to the next color. So it's nice, simple color work that way. And so this is a size 2 that I'm doing, which will be 33.5 inches for the final bust circumference, which is exactly what I am. So it'll be 0 inches of positive ease, or at least that's what it's supposed to be when it's all done. For this sweater, you're also doing short rows, and she does have the option to make it wider in the back than the front if you have a wider back, because that's how she prefers her clothing. She does have a wider back than front, so she has that included if you need it. So yeah, you start with the short row. You know, you're starting, well, you're knitting it in the round, but you do have your short row shaping at the back, or, you know, around. You have your short row shaping. And then as you're knitting it, you're also creating this different pattern going down the sleeve. And it also has an I-cord that carries on down the sleeve as well, and down the body, maybe down the side of the body, I think as well. But yeah, down the side of the body, a little I-cord going on here. And yeah, bring this up close here. And the yarn that I'm using is Tin Pure Gint, which I believe is 100% Norwegian wool. Oh, we're going to do this again. So yes, the yarn that I'm using is the Tin Pure Gint. It is 100% Norwegian wool. And this is color 4672. And this is color 4623. So yeah, that's what I'm using. Main color and contrast. I'm almost ready to get my next contrast out. But I think what I'm going to do once I'm out of the contrast on the body, I'm going to pick up the sleeves and start knitting the sleeves, because you do this interesting method when you're, take these off. You're doing this interesting method when you're doing the sleeves, which is, well, I don't know how much I should say. It's a pay for pattern, so I don't want to give too much away. It's not in the description at all, so I'm not going to say too much about it, but it is an interesting way of doing your sleeves when you're separating. And I just want to make sure that I get the sleeves started before worrying about issues with those sleeves, which is all I'm going to say. If you have the pattern, you'll know what I mean. So yes. Okay, so that's all I have for my melon sweater, I believe. So now we're going to talk about my last work in progress that I need to talk about today, which is the Calm Night Cami by Lily Kate France, which I have so many things attached to it that should not be attached to it right now. Okay. This is the Calm Night Cami by Lily Kate France. This is as far as I've gotten so far on it, which is just the back panel. I actually just finished the back panel. I'm going to be putting these stitches on hold and picking up for the shoulders is the next step. But I wanted to start on another tank top because it's getting into summer and I need more knit tank tops. So I decided to go with a pattern from Lily Kate France, which I've never actually knit from this designer, but so far I'm really enjoying it. She actually has a really unique method as well. She has interesting short rows kind of right at the edges here that you're knitting as well. So then it gives a bit of a lift for when you're picking up for the shoulders. So I thought that was really interesting. I've never seen that before in a tank, or like really I can't think of having seen that anywhere. So I like that. To me, it means that there's attention to detail that she's putting into her patterns to make it more wearable. So yeah, I'm excited to finish this or to continue on it. So hopefully, because like my focus, I really want to continue with my melon sweater, because now that I'm in the round, it should be easier. And this, and my husband's sweater is going to, I don't know, 3 projects. I should be able to alternate between the 3. Hopefully I'll have lots done on all 3. My socks are bottom of the pile right now because it's getting into summer. I barely ever wear socks right now, especially when I'm at home. So I don't want to knit them. Okay. Anyways, back to this. For this pattern, I'm doing the size 2 to get 34 to, sorry, I'm doing the size 2, which is 32 to 34 inches for your bust circumference. And it's on 3.25 millimeter needles, and you do switch to a 3 millimeter needle to do all of the finishings. You're going to hear my dog losing her mind at the end of this video because we have people spraying for ants today in our yard, and they just got here, so that's why she's freaking out. Okay, so the yarn that I'm using is another Sandus yarn. It's oh my goodness, it's Tin Line, again by Sandus Yarn, because I had a few different colors from them that I bought, so it's time to use some of them up. So this is the next one that I'm using in this beautiful burgundy, color 4372. And I'm actually really loving this yarn. Like the one that I knit from Twin Stitches Designs, the Coco Loco Tank, I was enjoying knitting with it for that one. This one I'm enjoying. It's got a good amount of, like, it's not stiff. I wouldn't say it's actually stretchy in the skein, but makes a nice flowy stretchy material in the garment, and it doesn't hurt my hands knitting with it. I don't actually find yarn hurts my hands when it comes to like the stretchiness of it. Whenever I knit with the silk, it wasn't bothering my hands. This doesn't bother my hands. What does bother my hands usually is the size of the needles. So my husband's sweater bothers my hands because they're huge needles. But yeah, this is not bothering me at all. Okay, I think that's all I had to say about it. It's a pretty small amount that I've gotten finished on it right now. I'm so excited for it, and I think it's such a pretty color. Okay, so the only thing I have left to talk about are acquisitions, which actually I wasn't planning on having acquisitions, but as I've mentioned before in other podcasts, I do work for Megan at Bramble Ridge, and sometimes I get perks with that. She gifted me 2 different yarns. You might actually see them over here. I'm not sure. I think the camera does have it angled a bit this way. But the first one is this gorgeous skein. This is hand spun that she did. It is superwash merino, Pullworth, and cashmere. Yeah, she didn't do the breakdown, so I'm not sure how much of each, but superwash merino, Pullworth, and cashmere strands to make this beautiful skein of yarn that she hand spun. Is 455 meters. It is fingering weight, I believe, is what I'm pretty sure it's a fingering weight, so I can probably get a tank top out of it, which I really want to do. It's beautiful. She gifted to me. It's not her colors, but they're my colors, and it really sings Barbie to me, which I love. It's beautiful. I'm actually wanting to cast on with it so much, but I'm going to wait until I'm done my Lily Kate France tank, because if I can make a tank top out of this, I feel like it might be the next one that I use. And then the other thing she gifted me was this skein. It doesn't have a label on it, but this is her newest colorway. It's Hastings Sunset. So she did a colorway called Hastings Sunrise for Knit City back in the fall, I believe it was, yes, the fall of 2025. She did a colorway called Hastings Sunrise, and it's beautiful. And then she wanted to take that same color concept and make it more saturated. So this is Hastings Sunset. It's all the same colors as Hastings Sunrise, but more saturated. And it's beautiful. So she let me have a skein of it. And we kind of were thinking of doing socks, because it'd be interesting to see how her socks would differ from my socks in the same colorway. But I'm also really tempted to make a garment out of it because it's so pretty. So we'll see. But here she is. I'll bring it up close too. Oh, and I should mention, I should mention that this is in her fingering weight yarn. It is 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. Anyways, I don't remember what the meterage of that is, but it's her fingering weight one if you go on the website and if you wanted to check it out. Okay, so that's all I had today. Nothing else for acquisitions, nothing else to talk about. I didn't do any work on the vest that we're planning on doing for Knit City Calgary. I haven't started that yet. Just that swatch that I showed last time. So yeah, that's everything. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.